Hey everybody, welcome to the Big Huntsville Podcast, the show that's all about the people, places, and the stories that make this city an amazing place. I'm your host, Carl Thomas, your favorite realtor, singer-songwriter, and all-around Huntsville cheerleader. Each week, we'll be shining a light on the community heroes who make this city tick, having some fun along the way, and sharing a few real estate tips when you least expect it. So whether you've lived in Huntsville your whole life or you're just thinking about calling Huntsville your new home, you're in the right place. Let's get started. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Big Huntsville Podcast. An awesome thing that we've gotten to do, especially this year in this podcast, is just to go out into Huntsville and find people who are making big things happen in our city. That we love this city and we love that there are so many giving people in it. But we go and we seek out people who are in the trenches doing things that maybe not everyone knows about. So there are so many people moving to our city. I do real estate, of course. This is a real estate podcast. There are so many people moving to our city that I know a lot of people are coming in that don't know the ins and outs. And there are things that those of us who are natives, like I was born in Huntsville, I know about that our new folks might not. So we hope on this podcast you are learning about some of these awesome things. First of all, I just want to say that this is a show that I have wanted since we started this show, and it is with someone I've wanted to have on since we started the show. So I'm super excited to introduce her to all of you. Today we are on with Fran Fluhler. I tried it. I messed it up. I should have practiced it before I said it. Say your last name one more time.
Fluhler.
Fluhler. I almost had it.
You did great.
Swiss last name, hard for a country bumpkin to say. But Miss Fran, as we know her, as most people know her, is the Director of Manna House. And Manna House is a food distribution program in Huntsville. They're under the Dream Center. It's a 501c3 public charity. They're volunteers serving our community to meet the needs of those experiencing difficult situations, especially through food, providing for those families. So Miss Fran, thank you so much for being on with me, for making me feel like a big shot, because I've got a big shot on with me today. I'm so excited. But first of all, can you tell us a little bit about Manna House, what Manna House is, what all you do, and just the basics so that we can get a basic understanding?
Sure. So we like to say that Manna House is an expression of God's love to the community, because we're just here to love on people. So maybe they need fresh fruits and vegetables or meats, or maybe they just need baby diapers and formula, or maybe they've gone to the doctor and they've gotten a new diagnosis of a heart condition or dialysis, and they've got to shift how they eat, and they don't have the resources to go into a heart healthy diet or a salt-free diet. And so we're there to help them with that. We do a hot meal. Sometimes you come out of chemo and you don't feel like cooking dinner. And so we have salads and hot meals and ready to eat foods for that type thing. Maybe you just need pet food. So you come to Manna House and you don't need people food, but you need pet food. And so our goal is just to meet whatever that need is to keep your home healthy and stable and happy. And we want to share Christ with you in the process of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been able to visit Manna House in the past, and one thing that I've noticed is the line outside waiting. These people are committed to receiving this help, which is awesome. But that line is super diverse. I know there are some of our homeless community that come by and get food, and there are some folks that are a poverty level that come by and get food. And then there's some folks that I would see as folks that have jobs, have families, and live in a home, but just aren't making ends meet. So I think that one of the neat things about Manna House is that you guys serve all of the groups without persecution, without asking questions, without making someone feel like they have to earn your help. I think that's an awesome thing that you guys do. I've got a little excerpt from Event Magazine. Miss Fran, you've told me that you're fairly private when it comes to Fran, but you're very public when it comes to Manna House. But Event Magazine was able to track you down just like I was. And they wrote this neat thing about how you guys start your day. They said, Fran Fluhler, Manna House's director, begins each shift with a group huddle. Communication is key. Nobody is left out from the information loop. Fluhler reminds everyone to be present to the incoming line of people to put them at ease. No matter what our feet feel like, our faces need to smile. So I think that's pretty cool that you're helping remind those who are volunteering to be present in the moment and to love people. There are people in that line that look downtrodden to me when I've been there, that look like life has beat them up. And I definitely feel the love. Which, by the way, when I've gone in, you are a whirlwind of leadership. You are not only do you lead all of it, which if you go and you visit Manna House, if you volunteer, or if you go by as a patron that needs help, if you go to Manna House, it's a big operation. It is not small. There is a lot happening. There are a lot of people involved. So to lead something as large as you are leading takes a lot of skill anyways. But your style of leadership is really unique to me because you somehow find something about every person that you're in front of. And as an encouragement, you find something. You've done it to me since we've been on here before we started recording. Like, you just find things about those people. You pull it out of the air. God gives it to you. I don't know where it comes from, but your style of leadership is amazing. And I just want to encourage you about that, is that just to be so focused on someone else that you can pick something up off the bat that will encourage them, that will give them a little bit of light, a little bit of Jesus, is amazing. That's incredible. I love
You're
how
so
you do
sweet.
that.
Thank you. It's
I,
the Lord, though. I have to say, it's totally the Lord, because I pray every day to have his words and offer words of hope and encouragement. And I think that if you ask for that, he'll give that to you. And so I really can't take any credit. I just ask him, hey, help me do this. And he does, because everybody has something special that you can address and talk to, but then he'll drop something in your spirit that you need to say to somebody that they
yeah,
need to hear. And there's no way I would know that. So I
that's
love that
good.
he loves them so much, more than I could ever love them, to make sure that they feel seen, heard, and loved. And it's awesome.
Yeah. And I think all of us probably experience that. When we're around somebody, we think of something about them and we go, okay, I appreciate that about them. Miss Fran says it. That's probably the difference. And if there's anything that we can learn from that, is to also do that. Yeah. Also share those things that God puts in your heart when you're with somebody. You
Right.
never know what that might do for them.
That's right.
There are people in leadership positions in ministries today because of what you've poured into them. You need to understand that.
Wow.
There are people that I'm connected to that see you as the goal. It's incredible. Your leadership goes so far beyond your ministry, goes so far beyond a nonprofit, so far beyond feeding people that need help. Your leadership goes with other people who begin to do similar things. My in-laws, they have a food giveaway
Yeah.
that's under Manna House, and that was designed after what you guys do, and they have done that for years, many years. I want to say that was started probably in the 2010 to 2013 range, somewhere around there, and they're still doing it. And my in-laws are in their 70s working their butts off doing that. And so I just want to encourage you for encouraging us. That's incredible. So tell me about the food distribution itself, because like I said, there's a lot of moving parts when you're in there. There's a lot of different people. I'm guessing everyone there just about is volunteers, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
yes.
right.
And I love that, because it's all ages, all cultures, all economic levels, all educational levels, all working side by side. So you might
Yeah.
have a high schooler who's in National Honor Society sitting next to an A&M student who's in the Medical Honor Society, and they're conversing. It's awesome. Next
Yeah.
to a retired engineer in his 80s who says, yeah, I work for NASA. And then they want to know all about what he did. And I love that. I love the relationships that form as they're serving the community, but the community also loves that. They love hearing that good chatter, that talk about, hey, blah, 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 blah. And then they chime in. And so
Yeah.
relationships form as people are working together, serving together, and loving on people. And I think it feeds your spirit in such a way that you can't wait to get back there to do it again,
Yeah. No, I
because you're
understand
like,
that.
hey, I love this. I'm working along the best people I could meet in Huntsville. And it's a great way
Absolutely.
to meet people. We've had a lot of people get married that met at Manna House, get engaged. And that, so if you're looking for a spouse, it's a great place.
Hey.
And it's just also a way that, like, we have a lot of widows and widowers who've
Yeah.
lost a spouse of 60 years or 50 years, and they're lonely. And it gives them a way to come and connect and go out to eat later or go to lunch or just work together. I have a lot of retired military, and then they come in the mornings and help set up. I love the volunteer base in Huntsville because people are so very generous. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about, you had mentioned widows and widowers. I'm just dealing with that with my dad right now, having my mom pass. It's almost like you have to recreate yourself when a life event like that takes place.
Yes,
And
I agree.
you feel lost and you really don't know what to do with yourself. Man, I want to tell you, volunteering at something like Manna House would give you a new purpose.
Yes.
And that's not just for widows or widowers, that's for everybody. That's for me. Someone like me, which I say this a lot, I'm in the rat race. I'm turning my wheels, and I'm in my 40s focused on making money and all those things that dumb people in their 40s focus on instead of what's important. But when I step aside from that and I go volunteer or I help somebody who's less fortunate than myself, not only does it bring me present in the moment, which is special, because if you're not careful, you live your whole life and not be present in the moment, but it also gives me a purpose, a feeling of significance, an eternal difference happening through me is something that you can't replicate. You'll never find that in a job. I'm telling you, it's something amazing. So, encouragement to the public is that you need to volunteer, and especially go volunteer at Manna House. It is a place full of Jesus. It is a place full of life. There are people hurting that need your help. Absolutely. So let's talk about volunteering. How does one volunteer at Manna House? How does that take place?
It is so easy. You just show up. So any Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, anytime 1 to 6, any Saturday 10 to 1, and you just drop in when you can. Some people say 30 minutes, some people say an hour or more. It's so easy to do. And we are closed on certain holidays. So go to the website and pull it up to make sure, like this Monday, we were closed for a holiday. So I just tell people always double check, but we're pretty much there, and it's great. Bring your kids. We got our youngest volunteer is a baby in a Tula, and our oldest volunteer was over 100. She just recently went to be with the Lord, Miss Irene. And I think it's great because you got such diversity of ages and cultures, and people need that. And so it's an opportunity for you to drop in maybe while your kids at soccer practice or piano lessons, and you just want to do something for 30 minutes. Great, come do that. But then there's also people who come to our backpack program, and they help pack on Wednesdays, and they get there a little early. They get there about 12:30, and they help finish that packing, and then they're gone, and we don't see them again till the next week. So you can just drop in when you want, leave when you need, and we try to make it easy. And same with food. If you're coming to get food, there's no sign up. You just show up, and we're there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 to 6. And then on Saturdays, we do a drive-through food distribution from 10 to 11 in the back of the building. Wow. And again, you don't have to sign up, just show up and come get food for yourself. Come get food for a neighbor. Maybe you don't need anything, but maybe a mom that's on bed rest who's going through end of pregnancy, or maybe somebody who's had surgery. Come get food and take it to them. We can be good neighbors, but we don't always have it in our own finances to do it. Come to Manna House. We'll load you up. You just come to the side door. We'll load your car. Don't have to stand in a long line. And we want to encourage people to really cover their neighbor. Be neighborly. Yes.
Yeah. So what does being a volunteer look like? What kind of activities are you doing in there? What can someone expect who volunteers?
I always tell people that life's too short to do something you don't like. If you like making sandwiches, make sandwiches. If you don't like making sandwiches, then make salads. If you don't like make salads, then give out the bakery and the desserts. That's my favorite area. If you like animals, give out the pet food. If you like babies, then give out the baby items. Maybe you like to work in clothing, or maybe you want to work on the produce line. That's my other favorite line. I love giving out cucumbers and tomatoes and squash and zucchini. It's a lot of fun. And then maybe you don't want to do any of that. You just want to carry groceries to the car. You can do that. And then I have people who don't like people, but their spouse does. So they just come and break down boxes and help in the back and bag pet food. And those are just as essential as all the other stuff.
Absolutely.
I have a lady who just comes to work in the library. We have a library at Manna House, and she just comes to work in the library. And all through COVID, she was making sure that people could check out books, and we were doing all the appropriate anti-COVID stuff to protect people. But I think you can find a niche. And once you find your niche, you'll go, oh, yeah, that's where I want to work. And it's great.
No, absolutely awesome. So there's something for everyone is what you're saying.
Yes.
And you know what? It's no matter where your abilities lie
Yeah.
either. I thought it was neat the time that I came in. Not only was there was Amelia's Closet who was working on your diaper end of things. There was
Yes.
a group from UAH there who I don't know if they were in a class, but they were all together and they all came together, which was cool because you can do this with your friends. But I saw several who were handicapped who were helping.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
thought that was just awesome because a lot of times you might have a handicap and you feel like there's not really an opportunity for me out there, or you're so scared of what that might look like that it might embarrass you that you can't do something. And there is absolutely something that everyone can do, no matter what their abilities are. So that's incredible. Okay, another thing that I've heard about that I'd like to hear more about is the hydroponic garden that you guys are doing. Tell me about that.
So we make a lot of salads every week, and it's very expensive to buy grade A lettuce.
Yeah.
And so we decided that we would try growing some. We had been getting hydroponic lettuce from Jimmy Sparks here in Huntsville, and he was doing a shift out of that industry. And he connected us to the gentleman he bought his equipment from over 30 years ago. And so we bought it and decided he told us specifically do it inside. And so we created an indoor hydroponic garden. And some months we grow as many as 6,500 heads of lettuce. Other months we grow about 4,000, but there's never any lettuce left over. In 8 years, I've never taken home a head of lettuce. There's none to take home, but it's
Yeah.
grown in water. So our chemo dialysis patients can have it. There's never a recall because there's no threat of E. coli, Listeria, Salmonella, Shigella. There's nothing to recall because there's no dirt. So it's
Right.
super expensive to buy that in the store, but it's super cheap to grow
That's
because it's
awesome.
pennies on the dollar. My water bill, if I grow about 6,000 heads of lettuce, is about $38 to $42. Super cheap. And so it's a great affordable way, and it's all volunteers. So somebody has an interest, they can volunteer any Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, anytime between 8 and 1 p.m. And so it's super easy. We've never sold any yet. We're still just giving it away because I can't seem to grow enough. But I love the lettuce because when it's harvested, you dip it in cold water and it shocks the root and that locks in the nutrients. And so it lasts you a long time in your fridge, about 4 to 6 weeks, and doesn't
Oh,
go bad.
wow. Okay. Yeah.
So there's no waste. And if you're juicing because you're on chemo, you juice the whole thing, the root, because it's clean, because there's no
Yeah.
dirt. So we feel like that God gave that opportunity to us through Jimmy Sparks, and we're so grateful. And I never intended to be doing this much, but we're actually working to expand it and do more because I think we could go through 10,000 heads of lettuce a month. We've
Oh,
just got to
yeah.
ramp up a little bit more. But people love it, and it's nutritional. It tastes really good, and kids eat lettuce. It's a dark fusion romaine, and so we put it in all our salads. It's really healthy for people
That
to
is
eat.
so cool. And y'all do that in the building, right? That
So
you're
it's a separate building. We do have a
okay.
separate building,
All
and
right.
it's about 15,000 square feet. And if somebody wants to bring their Sunday school class or their scout troop to come on a tour, just let me know. They can reach out to me. All the phone numbers are on the website, and we'd love to give a tour because we want to educate the public. I think everybody can grow something that they can share with themselves. I
Yeah.
mean, with their own family, but also with their neighbors. And so
Sure.
I tell everybody when you grow your first tomato, don't eat it, give it away, tithe it. And then every 10 tomatoes, give one away, and then
Yeah.
feed your family with the rest. And so we have people growing bell pepper plants and tomato plants, stuff like that. But you can also grow lettuce, and it's so affordable to do that.
Yeah. Sounds
Easy to do.
awesome. Let's talk about your location. So the main, I'm guessing we call it a campus. The main campus, because it's a big place, Manna House is on Memorial Parkway, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Like right beside
Yes.
Life Church, across from
Correct.
Big Daddy's and the Love Coffee, right in the middle of everything in Huntsville. So that is the location if somebody wanted to volunteer for one of your food giveaways to be a part of these other things, that's probably where they would need to show up, right?
Absolutely. You're
Okay.
exactly right.
And you mentioned a website. What is your website?
So the website is mymannahouse.com because the first time you come, it's now your Manna House.
Oh, wow.
So whether you're coming
That's
for
cool.
food or coming to volunteer, it's
Yeah.
mymannahouse.com.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you go to
awesome.
that, it'll link you to the hydroponic garden. It'll link you to some other things that we do in the community, but everybody's welcome. And we'd
Yeah,
love to have people come and bring their skill set to
sure.
Manna House.
Yeah,
Have
I can
women who are
imagine. an engineer getting into this hydroponic thing. I just
Oh,
imagine
they love it.
so someone who's so smart that they can't hold it in, they would probably love that. They probably love jumping into that. I have a really fast Manna House story and one final question for you. My Manna House story is off one of my life heroes. His name was Paul Weeks. He passed away last year, but I remember in 2015, we had met a big semi truck and we ended up with all this food that we were under your ministry giving away. And Paul Weeks, we had a big cardboard square big box full of potatoes, and potatoes are heavy. And I remember Paul, he was the kind of guy that if he had something to do, he's going to get it done right away. And he was throwing those potatoes at me, and I was trying to put them where they go, and I could not keep up with Paul. Paul was in his 70s, couldn't keep up with the guy putting these potatoes up. And he just had such a heart for what we were doing through you guys. But that was my favorite Manna House story that I was connected to, is that man almost killed me with potatoes that day. So my final question to you is, what is the driving force behind you doing all this? Why volunteer so much of your life to something like this?
Well, I have this sign on my desk and it says, my answer is yes, Lord, before you ask. And the Lord just asked me to feed his people. And I said, I will.
Yeah.
And so I have the call to feed people, and that's what I do. And I love doing it. So I do it because it glorifies God. That's really the truth.
Well,
I wish I had some real technical answer to give you, but
no,
you asked me, will you feed my people? And I said, sure. So
that's amazing.
And that's not my skill set. It's not my wheelhouse. I don't know what I'm doing every day, but I trust him and I do my very best. And he always exceeds my expectations.
If that is true about that not being your skill set, then it is also true, that old saying that he doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called, because that is your skill set. Just so you know, there is no doubt about it. When you're in the midst of Miss Fran in the middle of leadership, it's there. The skill set exists and it's there, and it's great. Thank you so much for telling us about Manna House. We will share the website to make sure that volunteers and those who need the help know where to go. And thank you for your heart. It's changed our city. The things that happen in that building have changed our city, made it a better place to live, made it an easier place to live, made it somewhere that not only someone who's unhoused, but someone who's housed who just can't make ends meet during this economic crisis we're going through can depend on. And we appreciate the big things that you do in Huntsville. And thank you so much for being able to explain why so well, because that was a great answer. I loved it. Everyone, catch us on Big Huntsville Podcast. We will always be looking for people like Miss Fran, who are not only doing big things in Huntsville, but doing it with a smile on their face, present in the moment, and all the other things that she told her staff that they're supposed to do when they're helping these folks that are in this line. Get involved with Manna House. It is mymannahouse.com is the website, and definitely give of your time and your life. It may sound like you're giving something away, but I promise you'll be getting something more greater than anything you could have had otherwise. I promise that. All right. Thank you all for being here on Big Huntsville Podcast, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Huntsville Podcast. If you've enjoyed the stories, the laughs, and maybe learned a little something new about our amazing city, remember, Huntsville isn't just a place, it's a community. And we've got some of the best folks around. So if you like today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend. And if you got a local hero or story you think we should highlight, hit me up. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, I'm Carl Thomas. Keeping it fun, keeping it real, and always keeping it big here in Huntsville. Catch you later.